Okay, Lamala, I'm going to make you the host again.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Thank you. I'll stick around for a couple of minutes.
Okay, I see what I need to click on to stop the streaming.
You see where up on the upper left it says live on YouTube?
I saw that, and I saw the more. I clicked on both.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. And there are people watching on YouTube, so.
Okie dokie. Well, thanks for joining. I think we'll be an intimate group this evening.
I get a special teaching.
Not a teaching. This is a joint, I mean, in as much as we teach one another, of course,
It's
but.
a personal trainer. There you go.
Yeah. So we could take just a moment to set our motivation and.
Excuse me, Chikila, before
Yeah.
you start, I think I am going to disappear, but what I'm going to do just to make sure, because I'm still afraid of the gods of technology, since I started the YouTube stream, I'm not going to leave the meeting. I'm just going to mute and put on my, stop my video, and I'll come back in 45 minutes. And, just to make sure that everything's, I don't see any reason why if I leave the meeting, the YouTube stream would be interrupted, but just to be sure, because I want to keep the gods of technology happy for all of you. Okay.
Thanks, Donna.
Thanks. Now go ahead.
Yeah, so we could take just a minute to think about why we're doing this, whatever our personal motivation is. And of course, knowing that doing this to purify and build up our stores of merit and wisdom so we can speed our way to enlightenment for all beings is, of course, a fantastic motivation to include. Okay, so Lamala, would you be willing to lead us in the prayers? And after we do the mandala offering, if you could pause for a second, because I would like to say something about refuge before we actually do that prayer. So.
Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and imagined. I declare all my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of karma for living beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of all others to the great enlightenment. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as the Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. Idam Guru Ratamandalakam Niryatayami.
And I think that when we do the Refuge of Bodhicitta prayer, we'll do the version that's by the merits I create through practicing generosity, that version. But I wanted to say that, Geshe a couple weeks ago led us in this wonderful session of, the multiple meditations. And he reminded us that when we're doing the Refuge and Bodhicitta prayer, that we can visualize like a white hollow tube of light coming from Shakyamuni Buddha's heart and touching our crown, and then the blessings flow like milk through the hollow tube of light, so like a white liquid, through our crown chakra, purifying sicknesses and all the defilements, together with the mental difficulties, such as anxiety, fear, stress, arrogance, jealousy, ignorance, anger, attachment, negative doubt. He said all of that. And so when we recite this together 3 times, then we can visualize that and boost it up even more. So, okay, thank you, Lamrim.
Go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings.
Thank you, dear Lamala, for being so quick to make that change. So I thought, seemed like last time you all sort of wanted to do the same format again. Since it's just the 4 of us, if y'all would prefer something else, please suggest it.
I had a question that I wanted to ask at some point.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going through the reviewing well-being, pliancy, and bliss, and I got so confused on that, and I'm still quite confused. I don't really understand the differences between the 3, between well-being, pliance, for instance, physical well-being, physical pliancy, and bliss of physical pliancy.
Okay, so I was going to look up exactly where this is in Liberation. So on the bottom of page 617, in Liberation of the Palm of Your Hand, it says, let's see. Okay, so here's how I understood it, and Lamala, please definitely jump in if you have some other idea. But Geshe has often talked about that first, we just look at sort of physical and mental well-being. Sometimes he uses the word comfort. And there, I believe what he's talking about is like how first, so in that case, it's first physical and then it's mental. And so like you would, it's not just physical comfort, like tactile sensation, like, your muscles feel good or something like that. He said, like, you might see something, pleasant, and then you label that as, oh, that's pretty. And then you have a happier mind because you saw something pleasant, so you have first that physical experience of something, and then it becomes a mental Say that again, Joanna?
sensory experience.
Yes, right. Does that match with how you understood that, Lamala?
Whatever you say.
So then next we talk, about mental pliancy and then physical pliancy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's, that's that suppleness, of being, well-trained. I think Geshe's used that term before, right? And that's what, then when we're looking at the Tonka, all right, sorry. So that pliancy, it goes the opposite order. You get mental pliancy first, then you have physical pliancy, right? And then the third thing is the bliss of physical pliancy, which comes first, and then the bliss of mental pliancy, which comes second. And so that's like in the Tonka of the 9 stages, when we saw at the top, I'm almost sure that that's the bliss of physical pliancy as the one monk, and then the bliss of mental pliancy is the second monk up at the top. So there's like this, so here's what it says in Liberation. So they use the term mental quiescence, right, for calm abiding. So in order to achieve true mental quiescence, you must meditate single-pointedly again and again to gain further familiarity with it. You must then attain the exceptional bliss that comes with mental and physical suppleness. Mental suppleness is the first of the 2 types to develop, but the bliss due to physical suppleness is the first of the 2 blisses to develop. So that's getting at how there's a different, there's the,
Okay, they're the 2 monks.
there's mental pliancy or mental suppleness comes first, and then physical. But then when you're talking about the bliss of that, so the bliss of pliancy, there's a bliss of physical pliancy and there's a bliss of mental pliancy. And the bliss of physical pliancy comes first, and then the bliss of mental pliancy. And so I believe this flying monk, yeah, that's the bliss of physical pliancy, and then the seated monk is the bliss of mental pliancy. I think, but I'm not sure I understood that correctly. Let me, if you give me a second, I can pull up my notes on the Tonka and see. Let's see, I had.
My notes are on the other one.
Okay, on my notes on the Tonka. I had that the flying monk is the bliss of physical pliancy. That's what I have in my notes. And the monk atop the elephant is the bliss of mental pliancy. So I don't know, did that answer your question?
It helps, but I guess it all just seems very vague to me. I'll keep working on it.
Okay, well, I mean, definitely ask more questions if you have them, or if you think of them after you've thought about it, we can ask Geshe for sure, because,
Well, I'll go to Liberation.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say a whole lot more than what I said, but yeah, maybe just reading it would be helpful, It does, well, it does go on. There is some more that so anyway, yeah, take a look at that. It's on page 617 to 618.
Okay, thank you.
But for sure, if there's anything that, specific questions that that I don't know the answer to, let's just ask Geshe, because that would be wonderful.
Okay, I'll work on it.
Okay.
Okay, back to your plan.
No, that's fine. Questions are good.
Did you have any questions, Patrick?
No, no.
I don't think I had any others. That was sort of the vaguest piece for me.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I thought we would start with a meditation again. And like Geshe has said, then we should start with loving kindness and compassion and bodhicitta to have those as our foundation. So again, you know, a couple weeks ago when Geshe led us in those wonderful meditations, he said that, you know, we can, of course, use the 4 measurable prayer and also the longer version as ways to sort of guide ourselves. And so, Joanne, I thought I would do the longer 4 measurable again tonight. And sort of as I read through the lines, Geshe had said that, you know, we can feel our hearts filling with loving kindness and compassion, and it heals us and heals all the people who are going through, you know, all these such obvious suffering we see right now, the anxiety, fear, stress, worry about jobs, health, you know, concern for disease. There's just so many different things. And so we can maintain the visualization that we just had during the refuge and bodhicitta prayer, you know, the white light being emitted from Shakyamuni Buddha's heart to our crown, and the hollow tube of white light, and then the blessings in the form of a liquid that's like milk flowing and entering into our crown chakra and purifying all the physical sicknesses and all the mental difficulties. And then our body turns crystal clear like glass, and our life becomes like that, crystal clear, and it cleans our body and our life. Then our hearts fill with love and compassion. So through the power of loving kindness and compassion, we can then heal the people around us. So sort of with that visualization in mind, I'll start with immeasurable equanimity. And of course, within this, there are the 4 types of immeasurable equanimity. So first, the immeasurable wish. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to abide in equanimity, free from the closeness of attachment and the distance of hatred. And then the immeasurable prayer. May they abide in equanimity. And then the immeasurable extraordinary compassion, taking responsibility. I myself will cause them to abide in equanimity. And then the immeasurable request. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And then immeasurable loving kindness. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were to have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they have happiness and its causes. I myself will cause them to have happiness and its causes. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And now immeasurable compassion. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be free from suffering and its causes. I myself will cause them to be free from suffering and its causes. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. And then finally, immeasurable joy. How wonderful it would be if all sentient beings were never separated from the happiness of higher rebirth and liberation. May they never be separated from these. I myself will cause them never to be separated from these. Please, Guru Deity, bless me to be able to do this. So as Geshe has instructed, that finishes the meditation on loving kindness and compassion. It begins with equanimity, then loving kindness and compassion. And then our hearts fill with joy because of loving kindness and compassion. When your heart is in compassion, your mind is in peace. So now we can just do this short meditation on calm abiding, bringing to mind our object of meditation that we've chosen. And just keep trying to bring our focus back again and again to the object for the next couple of minutes. Okay. So we can rejoice that we just did another meditation. And I'm just wondering, we're so few people that I can tailor it to whatever y'all want to do. So would it be helpful to just sort of, again, drill on the 9 stages and the 6 powers and the 4 mental engagements? Or would you like to talk about the definitions of subtle and gross excitement? Or what kind of thing would you all like to practice for the study part?
We can do all of that.
Sorry, Bodhi's sitting here crunching on something. So I muted us. So it's either crunching or barking.
I understand.
Yeah, you would. I haven't really reviewed lately in depth the, gross and subtle sinking mind and exciting mind. And for me personally, it'd probably be better to go through that, because I've been working pretty hard on just getting in my mind the 9 stages and the 6 powers and 4, and then how they all match up, getting my 3-column thing in my head.
Yeah.
But I haven't really, it's been a while since I've looked at subtle and gross sinking. So.
Okay, sure, great. So let's do that. So gross sinking mind.
That's when you have stability but no clarity.
Excellent. Very succinct. Well said. Yep. And then what happens when that sinking mind is more subtle? So for subtle sinking mind.
Well, you have stability and clarity, but the clarity is not intense. The force of your retention has slackened.
Lexo, Lexo. Well said, well said. Yeah. Okay. So, Joanna.
Yeah.
What is gross sinking mind again?
Gross sinking mind is when you have the object, but the clarity is not there.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, right. And what is subtle sinking mind?
Subtle sinking mind is when memorization is so bloody hard for my 76-year-old brain. It's remarkable.
But we can rejoice that you're trying, because that's all we can do is try.
Okay, so the image, subtle sinking mind, the image is clear and it's stable.
Right.
But it's weak.
Right. Yeah, the force of the retention,
yeah,
and the clarity, those things aren't strong. Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay. So, gross excited mind.
That's when you have lost the object.
Right.
And when it's through attraction to that object.
Exactly, right. It's about attachment, not the other ways we can wander, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That object, not the subject.
All right, and so what does subtle excited mind look like?
Subtle excited mind is when there's something else going on. You're kind of like the little fishy under the ice. It's part of your mind is you're there and you're on it, but part of your mind is being distracted with something else.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I think you got the fish under the ice from my mistake. The ice is usually referred to from, that's an example for introspection. It's water running a sheet of ice.
Water under the ice.
Something subliminal going on under the below conceptual thought.
Yeah. Oh, right. The fishy is
That's
introspection.
Example. I'm sorry. I said that once and it probably stuck in your
It's stuck in my mind. Something finally stuck.
There's an attractive.
Geshe laughed at it, so you know it's wrong.
It's an attractive image. So.
Yeah.
That's
There
right.
you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was my fault.
No.
Yeah, the example that they often give is that it's like water flowing under a sheet of ice. You can still see the sheet of ice, but there's something else too, right? So, yeah. Okay, so to continue in this vein, what is the cause of sinking mind?
Sluggishness.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the cause of excited mind?
Wandering, being your mind being attracted.
Right. Yeah, attachment. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. Yeah. Okay, so that was good.
Oh, good.
So I mean that's pretty much all we had on those,
Yeah.
just so that we can be able to identify when they're happening, right? Because I mean, if you're like me, I'm pretty much just the pendulum swinging between these, if I can stay on the object at all. Right. So being able to tell what it is helps us know how to address it, right? So
Yeah.
so it's,
Subtle sinking mind is because some people think that's meditative equipoise.
exactly.
You are stable and it is somewhat clear, even though it's slackened, they don't see that and they think that if they're liberated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point, Lamala, because it would be such a shame to, think you're there and keep practicing something when you're not there. And so it becomes an obstacle then, right? So, yeah. Okay, well, I think we have time for either one more meditation or to do more, like another topic of review. So I'll just let you all say which you prefer.
I'm ready for another meditation myself. What about you?
I agree. It's interesting with the smaller group. I was one saying, well, we really should, before thinking of a larger group, really going through the stages and getting the terms in them is really the most effective thing to really, but with the smaller group, I find that doing the regular combination of some discussion, but doing the meditation really helpful.
Okay. Okay, well then let's do one more and I'll give you one more choice. We can either do the Tonglen meditation, similar to the one that Geshe led us in a couple weeks ago, as the precursor to the calm abiding, or we can do the just the awareness of awareness meditation. So which would you prefer?
Awareness of awareness.
Okay, you got it. All right, so.
I'm going to mute us so you don't hear crunching.
Okay. Okay, so again, let's just take a moment to settle in. And we'll do this meditation on conventional nature of mind. So as Geshe has taught us, we can guide ourselves by saying, my mind, my awareness is clear and knowing. There's no form, no shape, no color. It's just simply clear, empty space. There's no concern about past or future, no worry. We're just present with no expectations. There's nothing to analyze because it's just clear space. No thoughts, Nothing to fix or adjust. Just be present in this present moment. And we'll just pause here, fully awake without distractions, with mindfulness and introspection, being present. Okay. So now we can just bring our focus back. And we can rejoice that we just meditated on the conventional nature of mind. So we have just a couple of minutes. Anything else to talk about before we dedicate?
I don't have anything. Do you have something, Patrick?
No, I wanted to thank you very much for doing this. Tricky.
Oh, sure. Yeah, my pleasure.
There's one thing that I was meaning to send you an email or note that was written back like a month ago or so when Geshe was talking about, got into the colloquialism of makeup, something coming up and it was making, he heard the phrase makeup.
Like a makeup exam.
Like a makeup exam or a makeup, if it's somebody having an argument, then makeup and something. And I was thinking that it was understanding, but I was thinking that the phrase that I would prefer to use would be make amends.
Oh, to make up.
Because makeup is so, there's 2 or 3 meanings of makeup.
Yeah.
Right.
And without knowing the context, being clear on it, then it's easy to misuse it or to get confused.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
So if that comes up again, or that's all that. That was one thought that came to mind, but I didn't feel like going into that at the time that when we had that exchange.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. Yeah. Sometimes when things are going kind of fast, later I'll think of, oh, it would have been so much better if I'd said this,
Right.
But that's a good point. I'll try to keep it in mind. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks to all 3 of you and to whomever is on YouTube for joining us. And, Geshe, again, when he led us a couple weeks ago, he was saying that, when we're thinking about doing the dedication, that we should really, well, he didn't say should, that's my word, that we join our hearts as we say the dedications. I thought that was such a lovely turn of phrase, to join our hearts to the dedication. So we could do that.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may we quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra realize things as they are, we too dedicate all these merits in the best way that we may follow their perfect example. We dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication. Praise is the best. By the victorious ones has gone over 3 times, so we might perform good works. We dedicate whatever virtues we have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings of all sentient beings, in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losang Drapa to shine forever. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. The one who mastered his speech at a very young age, the one with great patience received the name Avatare, the one with great precision who spread the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa on bliss and void, Lama ornament of the yellow hat tradition, please remain until samsara ends. You uphold the subduer's moral way. You serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine. You masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the 3 jewels. Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please live. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Om Taritu Taritu Re Soha. Om Taritu Taritu Re Soha.
Thank you, Venerable Lamo, for leading us. And thank you, Joanna and Patrick, for joining.
Thanks to both of you for helping us with this today.
Yeah,
Much
sure.
appreciated.
Thanks to Bodhi too.
Yes, right here. And have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Wish the same for all of you.
Bodhi's
Okay.
been more in calm abiding than usual.
Let's see if I can. There he is.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, there he is.
same old. And this is his favorite chew. So he only gets it when we're on Zoom.
There's some wisdom in that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.